Hi guys, so I did not get day 6 done in a video, so I do apologize. Yesterday was a crazy day, so I'm going to combine the two videos into one and do today what invisible illness means and partner with what spoon theory is. They kind of go hand in hand in a way, so I thought it would be good to combine both in a video. So I'm going to start with what invisible illness is. So an invisible illness is anything that someone is diagnosed with where there's no outwardly signs. So like if you broke your arm, you'd be in a cast or a sling, so you would know that person's arm's broken. Or if they're paralyzed, they would most likely be in a wheelchair or have assisting devices. So when you're diagnosed with something like, say, lupus or fibromyalgia or a mental illness, you wouldn't necessarily know that someone has it because a lot of people just don't believe us when we say that we're experiencing all of this. And it's very hard to go about our day when we're being told what we have doesn't exist. And it's not just people in our lives too, it's doctors. I couldn't tell you how many doctors told me that what I was experiencing was in my head. And it took literally, I think it was the 4th or 5th time going to my general practitioner for him to even write up a referral for me to go see a specialist because he didn't believe what I had was real. And with that invisible illness too, when we say we're so exhausted, we get told that we need to go home and sleep more, or that we need to drink more water or be outside more. No, that is a symptom of what we have. It's not something that we choose. We are exhausted all of the time. And that's why I want to talk to you guys as well about spoon theory, because it's a really cool concept that people with fibro actually use. So spoon theory was a story written by a woman named Christine, and it relates a lot to people that are dealing with chronic illness because we have a lot of fatigue and we don't have a lot of energy to begin with, no matter how much we sleep or how much caffeine we take. Trust me, I take probably an unhealthy amount of caffeine. So I know it's not the caffeine that's gonna help me. So it's literally a visual representation of how much energy we have in a day. And everyone does it a little bit differently. So you can choose how many spoons you start off with. So let's say that I wanted to use my energy and represent it by 20 spoons. So that's how much energy I had during the day. So my workouts would probably represent 5 spoons. My drive to work would probably represent 1 spoon and then 1 spoon on the way back because it's a very long drive. So if I did those things in one day, I would lose 7 spoons. That would leave me with 13 spoons left over. Sorry to do math in my head. So with those 13 spoons, I could use them on other projects. So if I'm meal prepping that day, I would lose about 4 spoons. It's really exhausting for me to meal prep. It's a lot because I meal prep for 2 people. So I would lose 4 spoons. So that would leave me with 9 spoons left. So let's say I had to clean the house. I would lose 2 spoons right there because it is a small house. So that would leave me down to 5 spoons. I'd have 5 spoons for the rest of my day. Well, I also own a company. So let's say I put 4 spoons into doing marketing and reading and education, then I'd have 1 spoon left. Let's say my friends wanted to go on a hike. Well, I wouldn't have enough energy to even make it through that hike because I only have 1 spoon left. I hope that makes sense. So let me do a comparison. A normal person would probably start out with 30 to 40 spoons in a day. They would start out with double the energy of us normally. So I'm going to say someone like that would start off with about 40 spoons. So if they only use 19 of their 40 spoons, they still have so many spoons left over and can do whatever they want. That's the type of person I wish I was. And I know a lot of us probably wish that we had that much energy. I know I do. So up here is what my chart would probably look like through the day, just on a normal Monday through Friday. I go to the gym 6 days a week and I work out for about 2 hours. So that's a lot of spoons I'm losing right there. Like I went this morning to the gym and let me tell you, I'm exhausted. I could probably go to bed and sleep through the night right now. I think one really important thing to point out too is that when we say that we're exhausted, we're not using it as an excuse. Or when we say we don't want to go out and we don't want to go to a bar, we don't want to go to dinner, we cancel plans last minute, it's not because we don't want to be there. It is literally because we don't have any energy left, and we know if we go and we do these things, we're going to be negative in the spoon category. And when we're negative in the spoon category, oh man, I know for me personally, I get irritable, I get hangry, I want to eat everything in sight, I want to sleep, I want to cry, I want to laugh, I can't figure out what the heck's going on in my head. I feel like the toddler I just nannied for the last 4 days who fell asleep eating out of a popcorn bucket and continued to eat popcorn while half asleep. His eyes were completely closed. We know not everybody's going to understand, and that's okay. Like, we all have different amounts of energy. Like, toddlers need naps throughout the day. They don't have the same energy as, say, a 9-year-old who doesn't need to take naps through the day necessarily. We're all different. But if you're having trouble explaining to someone that you're just tired and you've told them why and they're still not getting it, teach them spoon theory. You can get the book online on Amazon. You can find YouTube videos on it. You can find examples. It's not hard to find those examples. Show them it. Maybe it'll help them understand. All right, guys, tomorrow is going to be a really important topic. So it might take me a little bit to create the video tomorrow, but tomorrow we're going to talk about coping and good coping mechanisms and bad coping mechanisms that people with fibro tend to have, and just people in general, because we're people too. So we have very similar coping mechanisms to many other people out there. So I'm going to talk about what those coping mechanisms are, like the common ones, and then I'm going to talk about ones that are good and ones that are bad, and how you can change your coping mechanisms to be a positive thing. We all have them, and it's okay for us to have coping mechanisms. We just need to make sure they're positive. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. It was really great being able to create this video for you. I'm so sorry that I was a day behind. We all have very busy lives, I'm sure. So thank you for those of you that understand, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday.